Hey friends, thanks for joining me today in your yoga practice. I'm going to start us off by reading out of 1 Corinthians 16, 13 through 14. And it says, "Be on your guard, stand firm in the faith, be courageous, be strong, do everything in love." In these verses, Paul is encouraging the early Christians because of the persecution that they were facing. He starts off by saying, "Be on your guard." But this is not a physical type of being on your guard, like grab your weapons, be ready to fight. It was a spiritual, be on your guard your heart, and stand firm in the faith. And I think he says to stand firm in the faith because when these Christians are proclaiming Christ, when they're standing up for what they believe in, that's when the persecution was coming. So it'd be way easier for them to just step back, be quiet, and not be standing firm in their faith. But Paul knows that this temporary fight of persecution and undergoing what they're going through is worth it for the end goal of being with Christ and having eternity with Him. And then it goes on to say, be courageous, be strong, and do everything in love. And I feel like that part of this encouragement might be the hardest part of it, because Jesus, when He walked this earth, He underwent tons of persecution, but He still did everything with a heart of love. He had forgiveness, grace, and mercy, and He calls us to do the same. When we go through any kind of persecution, maybe not what the early Christians went through, but hatred around us, we're called to keep a heart of love and to talk, respond, and act in a way that shows God's love. This can be really hard to do, but the encouragement here is that Christ is with us. He dwells in our hearts, and He can give us that love towards people. So today, while you're on your mat, I encourage you to just rest on these words. Be on your guard, stand firm in the faith, be courageous, be strong, and do everything in love. How can you walk out these words today? Go ahead and grab your mat and your water, and let's get started. All right, guys, today in our restorative yoga, we're going to hold our postures for a minute and a half, really allowing the body to start to melt into each posture, giving our bodies time to find the pose and then start to move deeper into them. So as we begin, find a simple seated posture on our mat, crossed at the ankles, rooting through the sits bones, lengthening through the spine and reaching the crown of the head towards the sky. Close the eyes, let the hands just rest on the knees, and let's begin our practice with 3 deep breaths all together. So go ahead and exhale out through the mouth, and then take a deep inhale through the nose, filling up the body. Open mouth, exhale out. Awesome. Inhale through the nose, filling up the belly and the chest, and then open mouth, exhale out. Awesome. One more deep breath together here. Inhale. All the way to the top, and open mouth, exhale it out. Inhale, reach the fingertips high. And exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, reach high, and then using the right hand, grab onto the left wrist and start to tilt over to the right side, pulling that wrist over, opening up the left side of the body. Inhale. And exhale, come back to center, grab onto the right wrist, and pull that hand over to the left side, open up the right side of the body. Awesome. Let's do that one more time. Inhale back to center, grab the left wrist, and reach over. Keeping that left hip planted on the mat. Inhale back to center, and exhale, switch the hand and reach to the left. Opening up here, inhale. And exhale, come back to center, interlace the fingers behind the back, and then start to lift the hands up as far as you can, starting to open up the shoulders here. Inhale. Getting a deep stretch, open mouth, exhale. One more deep breath here. Inhale, reaching those hands high. And exhale, release the hands, bring the soles of the feet together and find your butterfly posture. Sitting up tall, again reaching the crown of the head towards the sky. Open mouth, exhale it out. We're going to hold this posture for 1.5 minutes, and you can either stay sitting up tall or you can start to fold over those legs, coming to wherever is comfortable for you. Close the eyes, focus on the breath, and let's hold here. Awesome job. Take one more deep breath in your butterfly pose. Open mouth, exhale it out. Slowly bring the body back to center, and we're going to swing the legs around and find tabletop position. Planting the hands and the knees into the mat. Draw the belly button in towards the spine, and let's just hold here and breathe for a moment, thinking about a flat back from the crown of the head to the tailbone. Inhale through the nose. Exhale, using the hands to press away from the mat, not dumping our weight into the wrists, but really lifting out of them. One more deep breath here. Inhale. And exhale, walk the hands forward and then drop the shoulders down. Keep the hips high. Find your puppy pose. Opening up all the way through the upper body. Inhale. And exhale. One more deep breath here, letting the heart just melt down onto the mat, reaching through those fingertips. Inhale. And open mouth, exhale. Slowly roll onto the forearms, drop the hips down, and find Sphinx posture. Lifting the crown of the head away from the mat, letting the shoulders drop down. Close the eyes and take a moment here to breathe. Inhale, really opening up through the core muscles, getting a deep stretch there. Open mouth, exhale out. Great job. We're going to move into a modified eagle pose as we're laying down. So take the left elbow onto the mat in front of you and place the right elbow on top of it. the backs of the hands come together, or maybe reach around and bring the palms together. Maybe it feels good to place a pillow under the elbows. But this posture is really great for opening through the upper back and working on shoulder flexibility and mobility. So we're going to close the eyes here and hold this posture for 1.5 minutes. If it ever causes too much pressure on the chest or the diaphragm, again, feel free to place a pillow underneath you. Close the eyes and let's breathe and hold here. Awesome. Great job holding this pose. Take one more deep breath in your modified eagle pose. And open mouth, exhale it out. Slowly bring that right hand and plant it under your shoulder. Reach the left fingertips out to the side. Bend the right knee, and we're going to slowly roll onto that left hip, finding another deep shoulder stretch, this one targeting the front of the shoulder. If this is too much on the left shoulder, feel free to bring those fingertips towards the front and resting the head on the left bicep. But find your version of the stretch. Close the eyes and let's hold here. One more deep breath in this posture. Inhale and exhale. Slowly start to roll onto the chest. Place both hands underneath the shoulders. And let's find a baby cobra. So just barely lifting the chest away from the mat, using the core muscles, placing only a little bit of weight into the fingertips. Inhale, lifting the crown of the head. And then exhale, come back down, and we're going to take our modified eagle pose on the other side. So place the right elbow onto the mat. Left elbow comes and rests on top of it. Backs of the hands are together, or maybe the palms are together. Maybe using a pillow underneath you for added support. Close the eyes and breathe into the upper back, really opening up here, releasing tightness as we hold this posture. Take one more deep inhale into the upper back and the shoulder muscles. And exhale. Take the left hand underneath the shoulder. Reach the right fingertips out to the side. Bend the left knee and slowly start to roll onto that right hip, planting the left foot behind you. Again, maybe taking those right fingertips towards the front if that feels better. But go ahead and find your version of this posture. Close the eyes and let's hold here together. Inhale in this deep shoulder stretch. Open mouth, exhale it out. Great job. Slowly start to roll back onto the chest. Place both hands underneath the shoulders, and this time take a full cobra or upward facing dog. Lifting the crown of the head as far away from the mat as you can, opening up all the way through the upper body. And exhale, bend the knees, send the hips back onto the heels, and find a child's pose. Lengthening all the way from the tailbone through the fingertips, reaching forward as far as you can. Maybe keep the knees together or maybe spread them out wide, taking the chest a little closer down towards the mat if that feels good. And let's just take a moment to breathe here, opening up through the lower back and through the hips. Inhale. And exhale. Can you let the chest be a little bit heavier, either onto the thighs or coming down closer towards the mat? One more deep breath here. Inhale. And exhale. Walk the hands into the body. Swing the legs around. And we're going to give those knees a hug. Inhale. And exhale. Slowly release the back all the way down onto the mat. Bring the knees back into the chest. And maybe you take a rock from side to side. Massaging out the hips, the lower back. Inhale and exhale. Awesome. Use your peace sign fingers to grab onto the big toes and find a happy baby posture. Pulling the knees down towards the mat and opening up through the hips. This posture is great for spinal alignment, opening up the lower back and the inner thigh. And because the blood flow is reversed, it's a great posture for slowing down the heart rate and easing stress and anxiety. So close the eyes, and I encourage you to just think about all of those different places in the body that you're working in this posture. Think about the breath and just allowing the oxygen to come in and renew the muscles and to slow down the thoughts. And be present here in this posture. Take one more deep breath in your happy baby pose. Inhale and exhale. Slowly pull the knees back into the chest. Give them a tight hug and then release the toes long down the mat. Reach the fingertips high overhead and take a long body stretch. Inhaling, reaching through each muscle in the body, extending as far as you can. Inhale, reach one more time. And exhale. Slowly bring the hands down beside the body and find your Shavasana pose. And as we're here, we're just going to start to move down through the body, releasing each muscle at a time. Unfurrowing the eyebrows. Release the forehead muscles. Let the eyes sink back and the eyelids just softly close on top of them. Unclench the jaw and let the tongue come away from the roof of the mouth. Open through the chest. Let the shoulders come heavy. Let the hips be soft. Unlock the knees and let the toes roll to the outsides of the mat. Palms down onto the mat or opening them up towards the sky. And as we're here finishing our practice, I'm going to leave us with just a few questions to rest our heart on. In what ways can you be on your guard today? Not physically, but spiritually. What do you think it means to do everything in love? How can you walk this out today? Father, I thank you for this practice. Thank you for this time to focus in on your word and to breathe deep and slow down from our day. God, help us to do everything each day with a heart of love. Would you give us your eyes to see the people around us? Give us your words that you would speak. Help us to stand firm in our faith when things around us start to shake and fall. We know that your word stands. It's our firm foundation beneath our feet. Help us to stand tall in that truth. We love you, and it's in your name we pray. Amen. Thank you guys so much for joining me today in our restorative practice, and I look forward to seeing you next time.